Welcome back to the channel. My name is Christina. Today's topic is matching people's energy is going to be the best strategy for glowing up. When it comes to relationships with family members and relationships with men, we talk about the decentering men journey, and we don't realize that a big section of decentering toxic men out of our lives is decentering the toxic relationships with your family. Okay, square one, we're going to start straight out the door. When you graduate high school and you get on your own, you no longer have to take people's orders and people's crap. You no longer have to tolerate, neglect, being told that you have a curfew or whatnot. Now you can wear makeup. All of these things, you need to disconnect from the people who stopped your glow up in the first place. I'm not talking about people who love you and people who are there for you. I'm talking about people who generate self-hate. People who generate that negative self-talk in you. You want to distance yourself from these people. And the first step is matching people's energy. The first thing I did was match people's energy because I got tired of being ran over by people, having them make me do things that they would never do for me. I got tired of sitting on the phone and people ranting to me about their life problems. But then the moment I talk about what I'm going through, they switch the subject right back over to them. People who blatantly don't show you any care or respect, and yet you steady giving them your time, your attention. You're steady on their vibrational feedback. You're calling this person on a nightly basis. Every time something happens to you, you do not have to run and tell it to somebody else. You have an external source of validation. Totally detrimental to being the dream girl. And when I leveled up, it would make you sick some of the things I say to myself. I constantly tell myself I am confident. All day, every day. I constantly tell myself I'm beautiful. Because if you knew what I would tell myself before I had the confidence, before I leveled up, it would be even worse. You wouldn't even want to live in your own body. If you keep telling yourself the worst, that's what you're going to get in life. Matching people's energy. If you see that people have boundaries and expect you not to cross their boundaries, but then when you have boundaries, people cross yours, you can't hold these people accountable either. So what does that do? It drives you crazy. You start believing the gaslighting. You start telling yourself, you know what, maybe I'm not worthy of having my boundaries respected. You go out into the dating world and now you got a guy who's crossing your boundaries. But you put up with it because you're used to putting up with mama crossing your boundaries. Big sis, your toxic cousins and them. When are you going to learn to set up boundaries so that people can't knock down what you build? In this life, you have to parent other kids. You're going to start your own family soon. Or even if not, you may be a teacher. Women are natural nurturers. So you have to guard yourself so that when you go out into the world, you're not tainting other people. So what do I mean by mirroring people's energy? So a guy who expects you to call him constantly, and yet you never get a call from him. Never get a missed call. You always got to initiate contact. Even a family member that you're always having to initiate the contact with. It may be a grandparent. Now, you love them, and they love you. But what that does psychologically to you is it causes you to chase. And so now you go into the dating pool, and you're already on that vibrational feedback of you chase people and you get nothing in return. So when you go and date this guy, now you're chasing this guy and he's not really giving you anything in return either. And you can't even see it. You can't even see that you are getting played, that this guy's got side chicks and you're his Saturday chick. You can't even see it because you're so used to giving 90% and barely getting back 10. You're going to have to cut that off at the source. Find out who taught you that. Who is it in your close inner circle that has you on a constant loop, constantly chasing validation? Who is it that's got you doubting your self-worth, questioning your identity? Once you find the source of that, you got to cut it off, baby. And I'm talking about maybe go no contact for a short period or forever. It's up to you. However long you need, it's up to you. Because what we got to do is declutter our environment. Declutter the toxic people who are giving us negative vibrations. And in turn, you go and you start that argument. Now you're breaking up a happy home because you were reeling off the toxic energy that your mama gave you. When I started matching energy, my life felt so much better because I was able to have some dignity. For once, I was able to take control of how I feel. And when I realized that, hey, I'm on this constant loop of chasing validation from somebody, and they're not giving it to me. They're breadcrumbing me. They're also gaslighting me, telling me that this didn't happen, telling me how I'm supposed to feel. People who invalidate your experience, they make you feel like it didn't happen that way, just to keep you tethered to them. These are energy vampires. Okay, they suck the soul out of you. Decentering starts with decentering your family tree first. That friend from kindergarten, that neighbor that you grew up with, I don't care how many years you knew these people, if they are causing you narcissistic harm, cut them off. Your cutoff game gotta be good now. Your cutoff game gotta be good. These people are toxic and draining you. They don't know how to live their own life. So they're trying to suck off of you, your energy. If they see you post that picture on Instagram and they see you're looking good, you shaved, you tan, you on the beach, you fit, instead of them being inspired, it triggers them. So anything to get close to the pretty girl, whether it's to be your friend or it's to piss you off, just so they can say that they got under your skin. A lot of guys will do this to you. Men at the job who try to get at you and you tell them clearly you're not about to cross those boundaries, what do they do next? If they can't get at you and date you, they start making your day miserable. They start making your job a living hell. This is what I'm talking about. This is why you gotta nip things in the butt right away. And you develop a reputation for not taking any BS. And therefore, you're gonna attract nothing but pure good energy. You're still gonna have to weed through the people who mean you harm, but the majority of people are gonna be too scared to test you. I used to be a people pleaser. I always had my guard down. I didn't care if people felt like they could try me because I felt like, oh, they'll find out later, sooner or later. And eventually I said, no, I'm not even going to give them later. You're going to find out right now I'm not the one. You got to give that energy. So if a guy is not answering your call, don't go around answering his call. If a guy didn't give you nothing on Mother's Day, turn around and don't give his behind nothing on Father's Day. This is what I'm talking about, matching energy. I was watching a video on YouTube from Father's Day recently, and they were saying how women were matching energy of their baby daddies / husbands. These guys had the nerve to say Mother's Day is all about you spending time with the kids, and then left the woman at home with all that pent up resentment and anger. You went through all of this childbirth, pushing the baby out, raising the baby, all on your own. You got to get the baby up in the middle of the night. You got to remember their shoe size. You got to remember their names. You got to remember where their birth certificates are. And yet he don't even know where the freaking soap is. He doesn't even know where their freaking shoes are. He can't help you with nothing, okay? And then he had the nerve to turn around and say, okay, I got another task for you all by yourself. Celebrate Mother's Day by yourself. Ladies, match energy. Match energy. Because you got to let that man know, straight up, you're not the one to play with. Because guess what? That hoochie, he knows to come correct with her. Because he's afraid to lose her. He's not afraid to lose you. And we are not going to inherit a spirit of disrespect, disregard. We're not going to inherit that. You may have been neglected as a kid. You weren't able to sign up for your favorite sports or do whatever, wear makeup. But now you see people doing what the heck they want to do, and they're blowing up. Brianna is a clear example. Her mom didn't let her wear makeup. Now Brianna is one of the hugest makeup influencers in the world right now. Dating celebrities and being seen on private jets recently. Her mom meant well. She was trying to protect her daughter. But in the long run, there's often a fear of femininity that people pass on to us. And really, that's the only way you're going to make it in this world. A woman cannot make it in this world acting like a man. So don't be fearful of your femininity, because it's not going to work. And people are setting you up for failure when they got you chasing and acting like a man, having you act as the role of the man in a relationship all the time. It's robbing you of your femininity. It's robbing you of your womanhood. When women talk about decentering men, it's not because we have a hate for men. This isn't the new feminist movement here where we're just saying we don't need man. I need a man, okay? But what we're protecting you from is the evils of man. Because we all know why Jesus came, okay? He came to bring a sword because he knew he had to separate the wheat from the terror, okay? And that's the same thing in a dating pool. I just heard a story recently of a crazy woman who found out her boyfriend was cheating on her. And what did she do? She didn't know exactly what car the girl was driving in. So she decided that she's going to go key and pop the tires of every single white car in that apartment building parking lot. This literally just happened. A psychotic woman. So why is it important to know your boundaries? Why is it important to be wise, have people respect you? Because when you go out in the dating pool, it gets real out here. It's really ugly out here. And you got to protect yourself. Don't let the people who held you down in your childhood hold you down in your adulthood too. Okay? Because if you go out here chasing people, chasing validation, you're chasing a man knowing he's got another woman, you're chasing a guy knowing you're just on his roster, and then you end up one day coming face to face with a crazy woman. All because you were so desperate and thirsty trying to get a man's validation. You didn't know your worth. And this is a scenario where innocent people were involved. People who didn't even know this woman's man. And yet people are coming out of money, having to call their insurance. You know, it's really hectic. This is why we talk about decentering. Because then you can protect yourself. Women nowadays would rather just be single by choice. Single moms by choice, it doesn't matter. If that man can't give you what you're worth, stop settling. So this whole people-pleasing notion, this whole thing of pick me, pick-meism, all these toxic relationships that we're harboring and holding on to, you are not going to be able to get in any kind of long-term marriage, relationship, commitment. You're not even going to get into heaven if you don't know how to have boundaries here on earth. You may be the crazy woman popping everyone's tires. She might be you. You got to control that in you. You got to have some self-control. You got to have some boundaries that you're not going to cross. And you can't develop that if you're constantly chasing breadcrumbs from toxic people in your inner circle. If you haven't learned that they are constantly triggering you, and that in response you go and self-sabotage. No one's ever going to wife you. No one's ever going to want to be in love with you. I am far from a 10. Okay, I'm more like a 5. And then I realized, what is it like dating me when there are all of these beautiful women available? What's it like coming home to me every single day? I freaking screamed. Like, what the heck? I was busted, toe up from the flow up. Hair messed up. To this day, I'm still trying to glow up. But every day, you get better. You make progress. Okay? And so you got to be real with yourself. You can't sit here and try to protect relationships or protect people at the Thanksgiving or at the cookout. You got to be real. Is that uncle creepy? So why are you still talking to him? Because he's family? That affects your nervous system, and in turn, you can't parent your children correctly. Everyone has a vibration and a feedback, and we're operating subconsciously, things that we're not even aware of. So it's time for you to dig deep. Stop worrying about the superficial on the surface, baddie aesthetic, and work on you. Work on the inside. That's what I had to do to level up. You will never, I don't care how beautiful you are, if this ain't right, it ain't going to come across, it ain't going to read. You'll just be beautiful and broken. People will still try to have a good time with you, lay you down, but that's as far as it's going to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe as well, because hit the notification bell. You already know, my name is Christina. I'm talking about leveling up and how we can become our better selves. How to have self-esteem. Not having good self-esteem feels awful. It feels terrible. It's sunny out. Everyone's hot in their bikini. And here you are. Can't even see past your own nose. You're just so insecure. You're just worrying about what people think about you. How they think. How do you look? You can't even live your whole life. You can't even be real. So I'm telling you, you're going to have to... If you're wondering why you're attracting broke guys who are asking to borrow your car, okay, go in your inner circle and find out who is in your family that's making all withdrawals and very few deposits.